We covered about abstraction and encapsulation. Today we are going to cover about inheritance and polymorphism. So basically, for inheritance, there are two types of inheritance. Okay? One is single inheritance that we'll check right now, where one class is extending another class. Okay? Class is extending, or you can say inheriting another class. And the main advantage, the main purpose of doing this inheritance is code reusability. Code reusability. So let's suppose we have two class. Let's say one class is employee and say having one constructor in it. So we are passing two things, two attributes, name and salary. Right, self dot name equals name, self dot salary. And we can have two getters. We get name return self dot name. Okay. So we have one class employee. Now let's say uh, under employees there are many categories. Some will be associates, some will be managers, some will be senior associates. Okay, so let's say we have one class called associate. Okay, their designation is associate. Now there will be many difference. One of the difference will be in their package. Okay, how much will be the salary of employee? Like an associate, it will be different for different like levels. So let's say this class associate, he is also having the same attributes, name and salary. Okay, uh, and like and this class is extending from the employee class because these attributes are same. Okay, both for this employee class and associate class, name and salary will be common for all the employees. Okay, so this will be extending from the inheriting the class employee. So in for inheritance, after the class name, you have to give a bracket and you have to give the name of the class from where it is inheriting. Okay, and after doing this, you have to declare a constructor for this also. So basically, in this constructor, self, comma, name, comma, salary, this will be same. And let's say designation is changed for this. We are adding one more attribute, designation. If by default, if we don't give any designation, this will be associate for this. Okay, it is giving a default. Now we already have the initialization for name and salary, so we know like we don't need to initialize it again. Okay, we have one function, super function. Okay, this is used to call the methods of the parent class from the child class. Okay, associate is the child class and employee is the parent class. The super method is going to call the method of the parent class. Okay, so in this case we are calling the constructor of the parent class in it. Okay, so we'll write super and the name of the class, that is init here, and here we will pass the two attributes, name and salary. Okay, and so guys, and then we have this other attribute designation. So you can give it the designation equals to designation. Okay, and let's say get name is already there in this. We no need to define it again. We can use the that is why I said code reusability, that you can create object of this associate class and you can use these methods of the parent class. You don't need to define these methods again. Okay. So let's see, we will create an object of associate class. No, I'm creating object, like we create in Java. That I recently I was working in Java part. So this happens when you work in more than one programming language. No, you will like mix the syntax of both the programming language. So this is the associate class. Okay. I hope the name is same. Yeah. And in this we are passing. So how many this one parameters this is expecting, guys, this constructor for associate class?
Two parameters.
Three.
Two mandatory parameters are there, right? If we don't give two parameters, then it will give us error, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So name and 30,000. I'm not giving any designation, so by default it will take a designation. So this is there. Now see, this is an object of associate class A, right? We are using this, but in this you can call the method of the parent class. Let's say get name, get salary. These methods are not present in this associate class, but I can use it. I'm doing a dot get name. Okay, so let me save this. So Python, this is great. Well, we're talking about inheritance. See, we are able to use it, right? Get name, similarly, you can use get salary. Or instead of salary, get salary, let's name this as get um, base salary. Okay, like this is a base for all the employees, it will be same. Base salary. What if I want to print the designation, guys, for this employee? How will I put print the designation? Do we have any method for that? I want to see the designation, guys. Do we have any method for that? How will we do it?
There is no method. I think we can create it in the associate class.
Yeah, we can have to create in the associate class, right? What will happen if I create in the parent class, guys?
There is no variable for designation.
Right. If we create here, there is no variable for designation in this parent class, right? So it will give me error, right? So if I call here, oh no, this is not giving me any error. I get designation. This I was expecting this to give me an error because this designation is not there is no variable called designation here. Then why it is still not giving errors? Because the type of A, this is an associate. Is it because um, okay, ideally this should give an error, but right now it is not getting giving error. So I will check on that. But ideally this should be defined because this is not a method of the parent class. Okay, this is not a method of this is a method of the child class, so it should be defined here only. Okay, then this is fine. In this, let's say now, I want to, for each designation, there will be a different salary, guys. Okay. Like for associate, it will be a different salary. So get salary. Let's say the rule is for associate.
Danish, I think we are creating object for associate. No, A is equal to associate.
Yeah.
Might be it is taking from that designation.
Correct.
Even though
When I'm creating object for associate, so it is taking the value of designation, right? And like, but still, this get designation method, right? I thought since this is not defined in the associate class, should give an error. But I think because we are creating objects in the same module, so that might be one of the reasons why it is not giving error.
yeah, if we give like A is equal to employee, then it might give the error.
Then okay, let's okay, well, just try that. So if I create A equals to employee, put comment on this. Employee object has no attribute. Did you mean to get designation? Okay. So yeah, so this is giving error. Why? Because designation when it is returning self dot designation, right? This self dot designation is not present here. That is why it is giving error now. But for associate, they when we created automatically it was created this value of designation. Okay. But I think that when we call it from a different module, then even if you create with associate class, it should give an error. Okay, that I will check. Okay.
Okay, okay.
So let me keep associate over here. So get salary, what are you saying is, so associate, let's say they are having a salary, whatever is the base salary, they will be having like 120% of base salary. That will be their salary. Okay. So in this, we are already getting the base salary from here. Okay. But what I want to get the value of the base salary, and then I want to calculate the 120% of it. And I will return that salary for this associate. Clear, guys? So as we saw, to call any method of the parent class, we use super, right? So we'll use super to call this method get base salary. Okay. So this is going to call your this method get base salary, and let me store this in a variable. And now we have to create 120 return 120% of this. Okay. So how can we calculate, guys? Return 120%. Like it will be how much? 1.2 into the base salary,
Yes.
Yes.
right? Okay, now see, now we have get salary, yeah, get base salary. Now we'll yeah, this is get base salary, and then we'll call the get salary. Okay. So let me print this. Associate get salary takes 0 argument, but 1 was given. Why we are getting this error, guys? Telling it takes get salary takes 0 positional argument, but 1 was given. Are we giving any parameter here? Any argument?
No.
Can anyone tell me why we are getting this error? Any idea?
Sorry, can you repeat, sir? Actually, your voice is not.
Yes, we are getting this error. See, associate dot get salary. That means when we are calling get salary here, we are getting this error. It takes 0 positional argument, but 1 was given.
Okay.
This is the error we are getting. So, what is the problem here? Because we are not passing any parameters here, right? It is
Do we
telling
need to
one.
pass self there in get salary?
Yeah, because as we learned in the first class, now A dot get salary is equivalent to what? Like we are passing here A dot get underscore salary. We are passing A here, right? That is A is nothing but self,
Yeah.
right? We learned it. So that is why this self is missing here. So that is why it is giving error. If you give self here, then this will run properly. No errors. Okay. So 120% of this 30,000, we are getting 36,000. So far, guys, the use of super function, to call the method of the parent class. This super method also we are super function we are using to call the constructor of the parent class. Okay. So and how we are inheriting, like see, get name is not in the child class, but still we are able to use it, right? The method of the parent class. Okay. So this is the concept of inheritance. Like when you have a parent class and you have multiple subclasses. For example, in this also there will be one class called associate. Then we can have a senior associate. We can have a manager, senior manager, director. We can have but all will have these attributes will be common for all the employees. Okay, and then based on their designation, this method will change. Okay, so this is also an important principle in OOPS inheritance, which is widely used. Okay, any question, guys? Any doubts on this? Have you understood? Yes, no?
Yes, Manish.
Okay. So in this, so what if, guys, let's say, we have one get name here, okay? And if we have a same method in the child class. get name. Okay, and let's say this is the method I am printing also. Parent class, and here I am printing child class. Okay. Now, when we call get name, guys, what do you think? Which method it will go to? Parent class or child class?
I think child.
Child class, right? Yeah. So it will print mm,
In child, we need to change it to child.
get name, right? So it is calling parent class.
Print function.
Print function inside the associate.
Okay, we have to change it, right? So that is why I was also surprised how it is giving parent class. So when you have an object, like the rule is when it is which class object. Okay, so if it is a child class object, it will call the it will give preference to the to its own method first. Okay. Similarly, instead of a, if we have employee, then if we call a get name, it will always call its own name, its own method. Okay. Similarly, for child class, if it is not present in the child class, then it will go to the parent class. But if we have the same name and if we are not modifying anything, then there is no point in defining it, right? So, for example, this get salary, there was a point because we were getting the base salary and then we were doing some changes. So this was, yeah, this is a acceptable option. Yeah, this is, but only printing just for the namesake we are doing get name. That is not, that will, may like break, that will like the rule of inheritance, right? That will be of no use. It will violate. There is no point in inheriting them. Okay, if we have same method naming both the classes without modifying anything. Okay. Okay, guys. I hope this is clear. This was single inheritance where where we are inheriting from a single parent class. Okay. Now there are cases where we can have multiple inheritance as well. Okay. Create a new class. So this multiple inheritance, guys, this is not allowed in Java. Okay. This multiple inheritance is not allowed in Java. Let's say we have a class A. In this we have a method display print from class A. So we have this is a. So what if we don't give the self, guys? So what kind of method that is called if we don't give self there? We don't give self, then that is called that can be static or this one static method or a child method, right? We learned it in the previous class. So this particular class is inheriting from two classes, okay, A and B. So, and let's say we have one method in this also, display. Just changing the name for this. There is so we are creating an object of C class, and we can call the method of A class display, and the method for B class as well. So this is dia play, okay? Dia play and display. Save it. So if I run this, so we are getting from class A and class B. Okay, guys, so far clear how we are doing multiple inheritance? Any doubt in this? Clear, guys? Yes, no?
Yes, Tanish.
Okay.
Sir,
Yes.
won't there be any kind of ambiguity if we print only one time, OBJ or display?
The ambiguity will be when you have like the display method in both the classes. Now, which display to which method it will go, either to class A or class B. Okay.
Okay.
This is here where there can be ambiguity.
Yeah, for this one, there will be ambiguity, right?
Yes, in this, if we call display, this display method is class A also and class B also. This is basically, this is called a diamond problem. Okay, in Java and all, this is called like a diamond problem, which one it will refer to. Okay.
Yeah,
Uh,
so one thing, so this was the same problem Java was having. That's why it was not allowed to have multiple inheritance in Java. So
Correct,
How Python is handling this so that it's allowed to have
correct,
multiple inheritance?
correct, correct. This is a very popular question also in interviews. Sometime they will ask you this. Okay. So let me run this first. Let's see which class it is taking. Okay.
Okay.
So if I run this, so it is taking which class, guys? Class A. Okay. Why I'm telling now, see, so class was inheriting first from A and then from B. That is why it showed A first. Okay. Now if I change the order, if I mention B comma A, then it will sprint from class B. Okay. So whichever class it is in it, the name comes first on the left hand side, it will take the method from or variable from that particular class. This is how it resolves the conflict.
Okay.
Clear?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, guys. So this was about inheritance. Then we have something called polymorphism. Okay. So what is the main purpose, guys, of inheritance? Have you understood that?
Yeah, to have the reusability of like same redundant thing
Correct.
every time.
Right, right. When you have, like a parent class, child class relation, then and you have some attribute that is common for uh, all the things with some custom change for each designation. So similarly, you can, for other real-time problem also, you can understand by seeing the problem. So there you have to apply this inheritance. Okay. Let's create a new file and try to understand polymorphism. Okay, polymorphism. So in case of polymorphism, there comes two things. Okay, one is method overloading, and the other one is method overriding. Okay, so let's say we have a class A, anything class apple, let's say, and we have two methods with the same name. Okay, uh, so eat is one method, or let's say what can be the property of apple, let's say color. Okay, uh, get the color. So let's say for one, it is returning me. This is returning, let's say, green color. Okay. And we have, another, or rather than get color, I have something called set color. Set color, the color, so apples in India, we have, basically mostly red, and we have green colors also. Okay. So self, comma, color of the apple. We have another method self, like same method name. Okay, and in this I'm setting the color to red color. Okay, now see, now we have two methods with the same name. Okay, let's say even the parameter, let's say we are making it different. Let's say self color, and let's say this is like by default it is coming from India country. By default we are giving one more parameter to this India. Okay, and let's say green color, it's coming from outside India. I'm not mentioning any country name here. Okay, now when I create one object of this apple class, okay, and I'm calling object dot set color. Okay, and I'm passing, sorry, why I'm passing like this? This is the wrong way of doing it. Self dot color should be equals to color, and self dot color should be equals to. Okay, now there are two methods with the same name but different number of parameters. So when I'm calling self color and I'm passing here, let's say red. Okay. Uh, and we have something called, let's say in this only, I'm just printing some message to distinguish between the two. This is the first set method I'm telling. And in this, I'm printing the second set. Okay. Now, if I call this, if I run this, guys, it's calling the second set method. Okay. This is a general rule in Python. Whichever method, is defined below the order, that will be called. Okay. Now, if I change the order, okay, now that is in the front. Now if I run it, well, so whatever is defined later, that will pick up. Okay, but but method overloading is like, this is not happening. Method overloading. Okay, this is like not allowed in. This is allowed in other programming languages like Java and all, but in Python, when we say method name, although it is not giving error, but it is not maintaining two different methods. It is having only one method. Okay, so that is why it is not allowed. Method overloading. Same method name, but different number of, but different parameters or different data types of the parameters. Okay, that happens in different programming language, the programming language like Java, but that is not present in this Python. Is this clear, guys? So everyone, any doubt in this?
Let's say like we don't give any default argument for the first country one,
Hmm.
uh, and then we call the after making object we call that with two argument. So won't it call for the second one which is having two argument?
No. See, even so this is two arguments, right? Color and country. Okay, so I'm passing two argument here. So this will fine because this, see, whatever is irrespective of the number of parameters. Okay, it will check for this method name. Whichever comes later, it will try to call that. So in this case, if we call this, it will try to call, instead of calling this method, it will call this method. Why? Because this is down the order. And while calling this method, it is going to give an error, right? At this method, it's missing
Yeah,
one required positional
argument
argument,
mismatch. Yeah.
right? Okay. So this is like not allowed. Now to the Python gives us one option to overcome this problem. One option when
But
the
like
hmm,
though it might sound lame, but why it's happening for CCS?
why it is happening for?
For Python, like other languages are solving this issue, but here they haven't. Like,
Because here they have yeah. So basically, the main purpose of this now, it depends on what, for what purpose they are creating. You know, what is the one who created this Python language. What intention he had in the mind. Might be he was not liking this thing, same method name. So it
mm,
depends on the what they thought at that time while developing this. Okay, but Python has
okay.
a solution for this, right? If the method name is same, but the number of parameters are different, how can we handle it in Python? You guys remember anything from functions?
Mm,
When you don't know how many parameters this set color will have, it can have two, it can have three, it can have four, then how do you handle that scenario?
Arg, args,
KWRs.
Yes, we give a star, right?
yeah, yeah, args, quarks. Yeah.
Right, we give a star. So let me remove one method. And in this method, if state can have any number of parameters, we don't know. We'll just give a star here, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Star and give any variable name. So if you want to use args, you can use args or you can use any other variable. Okay. So then this solves the problem for method overloading in Python. You give
Acha.
name color is not defined. So this you have to change this, right? You have to use arg, right? So
Mm-hmm.
in this, let's say args, right? So args will be a tuple, right? So we store the information in, say, let's say the params, and we will store this args. And then you can call, like if it is having, you have to know like how many, uh, like what can be the parameters. Let's say red, and I have one more parameter for country called India. Okay, so you store this in this, and then you just assign self. So here we cannot use this self dot name. Self, yeah, here we can use it. Yeah, self dot name we can give here. Self dot, oh sorry, self dot color we can give, and here we will give this one, a params 0. Okay. Similarly, self dot country, and you will give that country. you can do like this. This should work fine. Okay. So you no need to store it even. You can directly use arg0 and arg1 here. That should also work fine. Clear guys, method overloading, how do we achieve? Although it is not allowed, but like with two different methods, but we can handle the different number of parameters in a different with a star and the argument.
Yes.
Okay. So this was about method overloading, guys. And we have for method overriding is nothing like overriding, one over another. So as we saw in case of inheritance, so if we have like two methods, get name in this employee class, like say, and get name in this associate class. Okay. When we have a scenario like this, when the same method name is present in both the parent class and the child class, then depending on the object, which class object you are creating, that particular method will be called. Okay. That is what do you mean by method overriding? Okay, guys, same method. I'm just mentioning it here. Same method in both, or not. You can say same method name in both parent and child class. Okay, and depending on the object, depending on the object is of which class. That particular class method will be invoked. Okay, this concept is called method override. Clear guys, method polymorphism, method overloading, method overriding.
Yes.
Okay. So this was all about oops, guys. Like we saw, how to create class object, what is inheritance, what is polymorphism. Now we are going to solve some problems with both procedural oriented programming as well as object oriented programming. Okay. So for that, but before that, we will cover about something about file handling. Okay. Then we will solve
So
the
you were
problem.
talking.
Yes. Am I not audible?
Yes, Danish, I can hear you.
Okay. So yes, Shivam. So we're just telling we will solve some problems with both object-oriented programming and procedure-oriented programming to see some difference in how we solve problems with both. Okay. I hope I'm audible, Shivam.
Yeah, now you're audible.
Okay. Okay. So let's come to file handling. File handling, and here we are dealing with text files. Let's say we are in Day12, and in this, let's say we have this file called student details. So guys, we have a text file here. Okay. So in this, basically, you see we have this record separated by tabs. Okay, this space. Okay. we have this records, and I want to read the file. Okay, so this is a normal text file, guys. So we have a function called open. Okay, this is to read the files. We'll give the file name here, student details. Or let's take this is a very big file. Let's take a simple file first. And in that file, let's get a new file, new document, check. Like, I'm just mentioning some lines here. This is the first line. This is the second line. This is the last line. Okay. So this is a simple text file with 3 lines in this. The name is checked. Okay. So I will give here the name checked. It's a .txt, so I'm giving a .txt extension. And after opening it, I am assigning this to some variable, let's say f. Okay. And if you see the, let's try to see the data type of this f. What are we getting there? So this is the data. This belongs to, after opening the file, if you see, guys, this belongs to some file, some class called text IO wrapper. Okay. And when we are printing this, we are getting a detail of this. So name is check.txt, mode is R. Okay. This is like you have opened it in reading mode. And encoding, like this will vary from computer to computer, some encoding mechanism which they are using for storing this file. Okay, this is not that important. Okay, so we have we open this, and we have 3 methods that we can use to read the content. Okay, one method is read, another method is read line, and we have one more method called read lines. Okay, why I'm getting that echo? Yeah. So once we get the file object, guys, then what you have to do, let me comment on this. You just mention here f dot read. I run this module. So this is reading all the 3 lines. Okay, guys. Then let me do the other methods, check with the other method also, read line and read lines. Okay. So one is read line. The third one is read lines. Okay. So read we have checked, guys. So if we run this now, other than read, we won't get anything. Okay. Because after reading, now, when the file is reading, when it is reading, so it is the cursor is, after the read operation is completed, the cursor is standing over here at the end of the line. So there is nothing to print. Okay. That is why it is printing null for the others. Okay. So we can comment out read. Okay. So we have seen it is reading all the 3 lines. Okay. Now we'll just check for read line. So you see read line is reading only the first line. Right, guys? Read line. And if we do read lines, what a read lines is doing, guys?
Read the all content in the same line.
Yeah, read
Stored in the
lines.
list.
Yeah, it's storing in the list, right? And adding on this new line at the end of each line, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Slash and
yeah.
slash. Okay, so this is the read is reading the entire file as a single string. Read line is reading only a single line, whereas read lines is reading all the lines and storing it in a list. Okay, so yeah, so these are three read lines, and there is one more way of reading going through the lines. So you have stored it in F, right, guys? So what you can do, you can just iterate over it. Okay, for line in F, print line. Okay, so it is printing all the lines, but it is printing with a space. You see this?
Yeah.
Right. Because after each line, as you have seen, there's a new line. Okay, that is why there is a space in between. So how, let's say, how can we avoid this new line, guys? How can we avoid this new line? So basically, the data type of each line I will show you if I see the type of each line, right? All are strings, right? Okay, so there is a way of removing it. So for that, let's consider this only first, read lines. Let's take this particular read lines. Okay, now tell me guys, how can I remove this slash n from each element here in this list? Let's store this list of lines I am just mentioning one, creating one variable. Now, how can I remove that slash n guys from each line, from each element in this list?
Through replace, can we do?
We can do a replace.
To escape the character backslash some.
No, in this, like, this is a line, right? Like, how will you escape this? You guys remember this method, remove, right? One option is remove. So list of
Yeah.
lines, like element dot remove backslash n with nothing, right? For element in list of lines. So your list, let's say call it a list new. String object has no attribute remove. Okay, this string object has no, yeah, remove is, I think this is that a method of uh
List.
The method of list
yes, and with that we can remove elements, right?
elements, correct?
Not a space like this. So this we cannot use. Okay, do you guys remember strip method of string strip? Strip
That
method.
got that was for like white spaces, right?
So I told you what defines white space characters. What characters come under white space? Told you the list. What comes under white space characters? Did I not
empty
told
string.
you tab, space, new line? I told you these things. I think so, right? So all these comes under the white space characters. Okay, guys. So here we can do a strip, and then we can get the, or we can do a right strip, right? Because that new line is only on the right side, right? It is there. It's not on the left side. So I can do an R strip here. Okay, guys. Clear?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. So read line, and read lines. Okay. Now for writing, guys. This is for reading. Okay. This is for reading. For writing also, or writing in a file. And by default, guys, this when we don't give any parameter, now it is open in read mode. Okay. Now let's say I want to write one file, write some lines to a file. Okay. So file name, I can give any name here. Let's say I'm just giving here file W. And here we have to mention in which mode we are opening it. Okay, I'm mentioning here write mode. W. So if we don't give any value here the mode is by default R. Okay, R is for read mode. Either you can give like this, or you can give like mode equals to R. Anything is fine. Okay. Now here I am mentioning. Oh, but one thing, guys, I forgot about here. So after reading, guys, we have to close the file. Okay, we forget closing. Then next time, let's say I am not giving a close here. Okay, and I'm again trying to open the same file, check.txt. So and I am trying to do f dot read. Okay, f dot read is fine. Let's say I want to open the same file in write mode, and then I want to write something. F dot write. This is like a write method. So even though it's not giving error, but sometimes when the file is open, you try to modify it, guys, so it will give you error. Okay, so that is why it's always a best practice when you open the file, you close it. Okay, here this might not be happening because are we using the same one? If we run it, yeah, now right method, right? Yeah, because which is still not giving error, but it is always a uh, good practice to close the file. Okay, so we have opened it, and then we have to just use f dot close. Okay, so now we opened the same file in write mode, and we have written write method. Okay, now if we check this file, check.txt, let me close this. If we check this file, you see it is blank. Okay, it has not written anything. So let me run this again. Now it is blank, right? It will read blank lines. Okay. This is a little bit. Okay, we are doing some mix up. 1 minute. Let me write some variables. This is first line. This is second line. Save this. Why just save it here? Yes. Fine. So this reading is clear, guys. So I'm commenting. So for writing, I'm taking a new file. Okay, I'm not using the same file. Let's say I'm creating a new file. I'm mentioning it new file, and I've opened it in write mode, and I'm writing. So for reading, we had these three methods: read line, read lines. Okay. For write, similarly for writing also, we have your this one write and this write line method, write lines. Okay. So if I run this now, so if you see guys, in this folder we don't have any file called write new file. Okay. So after running this, if I go to that folder, and you see a new file got created, new file, although it is not writing anything in this, but a new file has been created. And let me check. This is not writing anything here. And what if we give here write line? There is no method called write line. Okay, there's a method called write lines. But why this write line? Okay, so we have write and write lines, write method. Are we not closing it? That is why it is not writing anything. Let me check. I run this now and I go to this. Yeah, guys. So we are not closing it. That is why it was not writing anything, guys. Okay. So this is the write method. Okay, guys. This writing is clear, guys. Okay, this is write is very simple, just a normal string, it will write it. Okay. Now, if you have a record like this, for example, this variable is the right list of lines. Okay. So we are having a write, and then I am using write lines, and I am passing this variable list of lines. Okay. So let me save this and run it. So we go back here, new file. So you see this guys write method, and then from the same line is the starting. This is the first line, and there's a backslash n. So it is entering the second line and then the last line. Okay. Any doubt in this guys so far?
So these things can be done for only text format or other format as well. Files.
Sorry. Can you come again, Shivam? What is the question?
These things can be done for only text format, file, or other formats as well.
No, right now we are only for text format. We are seeing this. This default by default, this is for text. Okay.
For others, we can't do this kind of read and write.
No, other formats we cannot do.
Okay.
Okay, so what write lines is doing, guys? For write line, let me print this. So this was read mode and write mode, guys. Okay. Now what will happen if let's say if I open this method file again for writing, and let's say in this I want to write second time we are calling the write method. So let me close this file. So new file. So what change in the output you're seeing, guys? So we are writing that also these thing, but they are not showing, only this is showing, right? So what happens, guys, when you open the read mode, okay, when you open the read mode, the previous content, everything will be deleted. A new file will be created, a fresh new file. Okay, so that is why when we are doing this they are writing and closing it again. When you're opening it, the previous file is getting deleted and you are creating a new file fresh. Okay, so if you want to avoid it, guys, so we have seen read mode, we have seen write mode, we have another mode called append mode, A. Okay, when you call it in append mode, then you will see all the output. Okay, then the previous record will not be deleted. So if I run it now and go back to the folder and open this new file, you see this all the output we are seeing, guys.
Yes.
Okay, so we have seen read mode, write mode, and append mode. We have seen the difference also. In fact, you can open a file into different modes. Like if you give an R plus here, so it means read and write mode. You can read and write both. You can do both in the same file, and with this file handler. Okay, R plus, W plus, write and read. So there are different combinations. Okay, so we will see those also in the upcoming class. Okay, so read, write. So, and what is the difference you observe, guys, between write and write lines? So let's say you're writing here, you're writing a single string. Okay, and if I, instead of write, if I give here write lines, okay, and I run this, open this new file. So this is also writing it, but let me just to show the difference, let me comment out other things. You just have to close this. So in this we are writing this write method. Okay, this find is writing it. Okay, no problem with this. And what if we give here another write method, and in this if we pass this list of lines. Okay, guys, list of lines, if we pass it, so see the right argument is telling must be string, not a list. Okay, so from this you can understand the difference between write and write lines, right, guys? So write can take a string, okay, and but it cannot take a list, whereas write lines, it can take a string as well as a list. Clear, guys?
Yes.
Difference between write and write lines. Okay. Okay, guys, so this was read and write, and maybe we can then we can wind up the class today, guys. Okay, we will discuss about in more details about this file handling in the upcoming class.
Sir, module 2 is almost done, right?
Yes, module 2, just in the next class, guys, I will cover about this file handling complete and then exception handling. Then our module 2 will be complete.
Okay, and then after that we will start like things like regular expressions and all.
Correct, yes. We will see the different modules then, yes.
Okay.
Regular expression, date time, JSON handling. So those kind of modules we will start with.
Okay. Thank you.
And Danish, you said like you will be solving few problems, no, using this procedure and OOPS concept.
That I will give you as assignment. Okay.
Oh,
If you are stuck, then I will help you in the class.
okay.
Okay, guys, then any other question, guys? We are good. Okay, guys, then yeah, thank you for your time, guys. See you in the next class. Bye.